What is going on? Happy Thursday. Thirsty Thursday, as some of you call it. We call it Thirsty Thursday here because we are thirsty for knowledge. We're thirsty for trade. We're thirsty for ideas, for setups, for chat, for community. We're thirsty for Fabio, who brought us the big update on real-time data in on your dashboard. The days of guessing are over. You will know where you stand if you trade with MyFundedFutures. Your account balances will update in real time throughout the day. No more end-of-day updates because we're just here to help you out. This show is an extension of what we're doing at MyFundedFutures. We are the trustworthy, transparent, mature prop firm. Pays you out quickly, has rules set up for you to succeed. This show, we follow the same mission. We are doing whatever we need to do in order to drive you to success and make you a successful trader. So if you have questions, thoughts, etc., let us know. Drop them in the chat. We're here for it. We'll also have some fun today. So if you don't like to have fun, and I know many people in my life who do not like to have fun, that's okay. You don't need to be here because we're going to have a little bit of fun. All right. Today, we've got a whole slew of economic data coming out. So I want to jump right into it with ES and NQ with our expert traders, Ms. Bull Barbie, Mr. VPE Forrest. So let's go ahead and bring them onto the stream with us. Again, we had initial jobless claims, as we always do. We had PPI. That was the big one. JPOW speaking. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. So let's just dive into these charts and get their opinions on how we're looking for the day. But before that, Forrest.
What's up?
All right. Life lessons with Luke. This is something I think you can sympathize with.
Lay it on me.
All right. I just discovered this about 20 minutes ago, but I let a buddy borrow my car.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to the car that you have. He dropped it off at my house last night in the dark. And the bumper is smashed. Didn't say a thing.
And this is a buddy, you said, huh?
Dude, crazy. Like, insane.
That's crazy. I mean, here's the thing. And you borrow something, you should give it back how you got it or better. You know,
or better.
Or better. Yes.
Or better.
So the life lesson is it's okay to make mistakes. But you should act in such a way that if you make a mistake that puts somebody else out, to recover as much of that as possible, as much of that out that you put someone or impact you have on someone, decide to take the action to resolve it and get them as close to whole as you can. Didn't say a thing. Crazy.
You gotta own your mistakes.
Yep.
What? He didn't say anything at all. It was just, here you go.
Yeah, he just dropped it at my house, put the key in the mailbox, and texted me that he dropped it off.
I agree with JPD Trades here. He says he should have dropped off a new car. Yes, he should have dropped off a brand new car.
Yep. So, Forrest,
what you got?
As you can sympathize with me, can you sympathize with our chat community on the NQ chart?
Yeah,
they're feeling positive. Every day, they're always bullish. Every day. I've learned. As we do these polls, everybody's bullish every day.
Denny Jones got moved to a live account. He says, good job, Denny.
Yeah, I was just congratulating him.
I actually just bought some custom wheels. I just got notified last night, so those are on the way. Some more Vossens. Got some gold wheels for the Z06. So that'll be cool. I have a vision. It's gonna be dope. But yeah, let's talk about NQ. Is that what you were asking? We're talking about trading.
NQ.
I was about to say we will get in a tangent on cars. Let's get to the market. We'll do cars later when the market slows down.
I'll send you guys a link of I use ChatGPT to generate kind of what I want it to look like. It's gonna be sick. So NQ right now we pushed lower. They were NQ and ES were super diverged last night for a little bit, which is pretty interesting. I'll go to the 1 hour real quick. Yeah, so at this time frame at like 2000, 10 p.m. They were super diverged, or a little bit earlier, but They were super diverged, and that was, to me, like, because of what we were saying yesterday. Remember, guys, it's going to be choppy. That was a pretty key sign of what today might be like, right? They synced up. They dropped lower. NQ right now did build a node lower. We're coming back up. We're traversing this, filling this a little bit in, and we have the overnight session point of control up here at 21,377. So again, the point of control matters simply just because it is the statistical data point where most of the people are right now for this session. Okay, for yesterday's session, most of the people are pretty close by at 21,360. So if we do a little box of participation, right, we could see it's right about right there. That's where most of the people are right now. Okay, and if we just fully encompass both of these nodes for the last 2 sessions, most of the people are right there. We're very close to it. We're going to come and tap on that door very soon, I'm sure. So right now, today we do have, do we have something today? Data already come out? Do we have data today?
Oh, data's out, baby.
We have data out, but we got Powell speaking. I don't know if he's doing a Q&A. If he's just speaking, that's fine. If he's doing Q&A, we'll see.
Yeah, so the 8:30 data candle was pretty chill. Right, it came out here. Let's just go down to 30 and see what that candle actually did. Yeah, nothing crazy, right? And yeah, probably because no, Powell's speaking. Powell already spoke at 8:40. Is he speaking again? I missed
he
it.
done?
But the question is he done? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I was trying to figure out. I didn't get the information. I ran out of time.
Somebody in the
They said
chat
he was
knows.
doing a
Powell's
Q&A.
still speaking, or is he done speaking? Some
And
of the
was there?
here, somebody knows.
Yeah. And is there a
Gotcha.
Q&A or not still coming? Okay, they said they think he's done.
Yeah. Either way, we'll
Good.
probably
we don't care
traverse
then.
this, come retest this area before we do anything else. And you have to imagine, guys, right? If you're like, Forrest, what makes you think we'll traverse that, right? What are the odds, again, that in the morning we just do something like this at the open? How bearish would that day be, guys? It'd be pretty bearish, right? It'd be a very bearish open. You basically are assuming that this doesn't, that just goes straight down from here without retesting this. It's possible, like the odds aren't 0, but your thesis would have to be that we're going to have an exceptionally bearish day, and that's not my thesis. So most likely it will traverse this range first, right? That is the more likely outcome, especially with there being volume built higher. Makes sense? All right, that's it. That's what I got.
Barbie, over to you. Yes. And I'm going to run the poll early today, too, to get the bias on the day. I
would love that. So here we are on the daily. We put in a little tiny candle yesterday. So I want to talk about this a little bit because that was kind of our chop scenario that paid out. And I always like to kind of pay attention to what that looks like on the daily because I like to anticipate kind of what shapes could come next. We are pushing the 2 to 3 ATR, which is my exit when I've been long and something like this. So I was exiting a lot yesterday. So we're out of a lot of things there, but this is kind of what I'm looking at for today. And I kind of came up with a few different scenarios. In some ways, this morning's kind of hard because we're not really set up yet and we're gonna have to be patient for some of this, but in some ways we might end up with some really nice trading today. So basically what I am looking at is yesterday stayed inside of the previous day's price action, just towards the top of it. And then our pre-market has pulled us down, but we're still inside of Tuesday's price action. So from that perspective, we haven't really made a lot of progress yet. And I'm kind of, what this looks like to me is the market's moving lower, trying to figure out where the cheapest price is going to be. Where are we going to find buyers? If we keep moving price lower, where are the buyers going to be? So far, they've been kind of around this 58.77 area. And I marked this low. So we'll talk about, I'll cover all these levels, make sure you have them. But I was looking at the low from pre-market. So I've marked that one. So what I'm kind of looking at is, well, if the bears can keep holding us underneath the century mark, but then push us through, not just hold us below. So, okay, century mark 5,900. This is kind of not quite a line in the sand, but kind of today. So if we keep holding below the 5,900 and push this, break this pre-market low, I think it's pretty likely that we'll come down to the 5850s. And this, I'm expecting buyers to be here. If there aren't buyers here and we keep dropping, then I think the market could pretty quickly accelerate down here into the low from the Monday pre-market and down into, I kind of created a zone down here because I couldn't really nail down a level, but it's basically the 5820s. So the bear scenario would be breaking through, excuse me. Trying to lose my voice already.
Are you okay?
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, I got it up. The bear scenario would be breaking through, or holding down towards these lows. The data is kind of peaking us up a little bit, but breaking through that low and targeting the mid-century, and then if that breaks through, targeting down here to the 5820s. This is kind of my less likely scenario right now, but I'm kind of watching that. The other thing is between the 5850 and the 5900, this can get really choppy just because we've spent a lot of, we've already spent time trading here. There's kind of some trading to clean up inside of this Tuesday candle. I know market profile kind of call that an imbalance or single prints. And then, there's all different things you can call that, but basically it's inefficient trading in there. And we've spent pre-market kind of putting some orders down in there. I would not be surprised if regular trading hours, we still need to kind of move through this area where there hasn't been a lot of time spent trading. And so that's kind of the 5860s up into the 5900 area. So that's where we could kind of chop around, especially just inside of this area, just filling in, making sure that all of our orders are satisfied in here. But I am still looking to see if the market's just kind of looking for some buyers. So if we do get buyers and we break through, first the 5900 is going to be my warning signal. But again, this can be choppy trading really inside of where we traded yesterday. But if we start breaking outside of that, and I marked the 17 level, 59.17, this is kind of where I'm going to start paying a lot of attention for longs, because if we start, go ahead.
Sorry, just to break it down. So on the bullish side of the trade, you're looking for 5,900. Now you're clued in to watch it. 59.7.
Yeah, that's kind of the line in the sand where I'm not thinking as much about the choppy or the bearish scenario if we're holding above 5,900.
Okay, and then 59.17 above that is when you would look.
So yeah, so what I'm looking for up here is we have all these little wicks where price kept getting pushed down. So I'm trying to think of the perspective of someone who's short, because if we're going to have, if we're going to push through this, we're going to trigger some stop losses on some short positions. So if somebody's been short during this move and they didn't take profits, or, they're basically bag holding, where are their stops going to be? Probably up here in these highs and above these highs. And so that's what I'm thinking. If we start pushing this 59.17, this would kind of be where I might start front running this sort of trade. But and by that I mean starting a position and starting to build into a long, and building into that long, I would really want to see some aggressive price action up in this zone. And this is, I'm basically looking at the highs, but I was watching the 24, 25 level the other day. So that's kind of where that starts. But I think that this box that I drew up here, this is up to about 35. And we have that high in there around 59.27. I think this is where the kind of stops are going to be. So someone's stop hunting, this is kind of the zone I think it's going to be. But if we have a lot of stops on a recent high and we have good data, the way the data came in this morning was a little bit bullish. If the market has a nice sentiment today and we're blowing through stops up here, this is where I think we could start. I don't know if it'd be a full short squeeze where it's really aggressive, but a pretty decent walk up. And there's a lot of lift area up here. So it could actually really start moving if we trigger stops up here. So that's my favorite scenario, if we can break through to the bullish side. The caution on that is just when we go back and look at the daily, we are really starting to push how far the market wants to extend. But then again, we do still have some room. So kind of up into the 59.70s up to 6,000 is kind of where I think there could definitely be some breaks put on, but look how much room that gives us up here. So this is kind of where I'm looking. If we have a short squeeze, the 70 would be my ultimate target, but I would be trailing up if we get into that sort of situation. So hopefully
Hopefully.
we
if
can get my favorite scenario. If not, we've got the choppy scenario and
then we have the bearish scenario.
the bearish scenario.
What are,
That's
can
why
you just read us the levels on the bearish one again?
Yeah, and the reason that I like to look at the market this way is it keeps me from getting stuck on one bias. Because even though I like this bullish trade, I might be wrong. And where am I wrong? So I'm wrong if, well, first of all, if we don't hold over the 5,900, at that level's been really, really important. But then if we get back below this, I marked it as 58.77, but you can, that was actually before some of these candles started forming. So you can really start watching the actual wicks and things on the bottom of these. And then the pre-market low is at 58.67. And I think breaching there, because the same scenario where we have stop losses on the shorts up in this area, I think the longs could potentially have some stop losses down below this candle. So I can see this being a lot of liquidity down into the 58.50 area. It might get real choppy below 58.60, like in the 58.50s, but that's where I was looking for that.
Awesome. So folks,
were we just asking where everyone's from? I just saw a whole bunch of places.
Yeah. I'm curious. The distribution, I think, is interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of US, a lot of India, and then some smatterings around.
Smatterings. Is that our vocab word of the day?
Yes. I'm also curious if anybody's from Greece. Just asking for myself.
Greece.
Yeah.
Are you going to Greece?
Yes.
Are you taking me? Just kidding.
Yes.
He's taking
That
me.
would be amazing. The three of us.
When's our group trip? I know y'all are invading the ranch, but after that.
Yeah. So we got to find a date for the ranch.
Come to Miami.
All right. Forrest, could you put your apartment address in the chat so that way we can get an idea of where you're at and pick a date out?
Yeah, it's 123 A Street.
123 A Street.
Unit 4. Floor 5.
Floor 5. All right. So yes, we're asking everybody where everybody's at. I'll say this too. If you have not yet liked the stream, can you put a 1 in chat? If you have not liked the stream, put a 1 in chat.
I fixed it.
Okay. You did? You liked it, Barbie?
I fixed it now. Now I'm liked.
All right. Amir, LM Trade, MixX, Bob, now is your chance. Don't worry. We're not frustrated yet. We're only about 20 minutes in. If you have not liked it.
I forgot to. This is your reminder.
Yes. Like it now. If you have not yet shared the stream, go to the URL. You're going to do Control-C on Windows, Command-C on Mac. You're then going to go over to your Discord. And you're going to hit Control-V on Windows, Command-V on Mac. Get your friends in here. There's a little sneak peek for what's ahead. I do have a couple giveaways up my sleeve today. The first one we're going to do once we hit 750 on the viewer count. We're closing in on 550 now. So if you want giveaways, 750 is what we're looking for. If you want ideas, we got a couple things for you. Every day we deliver the most interesting chart of the day. And so that is right around the corner. Every day, starting today, we're giving a free expert account to whoever has the best or most interesting question in the chat. So you can go ahead and start dropping those in there now. Every day we deliver on education. Every day we watch the open. Every day we look at the 10 a.m. candles. We get the 4-hour and the 2-hour. So stay tuned. A lot ahead. Barbie, can I dish it to you for the most interesting chart of the day? And then after that, I've got a couple questions queued up out of the chat for Forrest. Whoever is the best, most interesting question, insightful, drives the conversation, is getting a free expert account.
I got to do this again. You put me to work every day.
I'll pick Forrest.
No, I got it. I got it.
I got it.
Oh, okay. So I saw we had a lot of people from India So that's good because I found this is actually a new to me stock. I was trolling around looking at some stuff and I found this one from India that had earnings and it actually looks kind of interesting. So let me know if any of y'all have messed with this before. I think you only have to put your question once, by the way. It's not like how many times you put it. Okay, so for chart of the day, Tata Power. So let me know if anyone has traded Tata Power. The reason I was looking at it, they just had earnings. You can see that they just had earnings. And I brought this up because their earnings looked really good and they had some good guidance. So they are in Mumbai and their earnings 156 million and their revenue was 7.8 billion. They have a lot of growth and things that they have planned. But one of the things that I was looking at, let's see, where was it? I was looking at so why would we look for an energy company? Obviously, this is a power company. It's in the energy sector. So energy consumption in general is growing. And that's just something that we're always dealing with. You know, for a while we were teasing about how it was crypto ruining the power grid and everything, but there's all kinds of stuff. Now we have AI. Like no matter what we do, technology is always, you know, driving up the power grid. OPEC's production on, or, you know, all the crude oil, we've talked about crude and how it's super, super low. That one could have been chart of the day today too, because it made a new annual, a new year to date low. But because of all of the limits that OPEC's always doing with oil, it makes it a little bit more risky. And so, you know, there's always a lot of potential when you're talking about energy and power. So they're looking into a lot of renewable energy growth. And so, like we're always talking about in investing, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And so we don't want companies that we're investing in to do that either. They are looking at infrastructure expansion, renewable energies, not just oil. The risks, of course, would be it is power, so it'd be anything that would be a risk to power, like any new technology and that sort of thing. They could have policy and regulation changes, and then just sector. Sometimes when you're talking about power or healthcare or anything like that, the whole sectors will be impacted, and you'll have funds moving in and out of different sectors. So it can be dealing with that. But one of the reasons that I liked it, so they just had earnings that came in strong, but it seems to have a lot of potential too, because I start here, but if I zoom out, we have a lot of levels above. So what it looks like here is it made a level move down, consolidated, and now it's starting to work its way back up. The nice thing about that is it gives us some nice levels. So we're at this resistance level right now, kind of right at the 400, but there's a lot of room for it to move up. And so the first kind of levels that I pulled were this 430, and then I had another one up at 445, kind of at this swing high. But we could potentially even make some moves higher if you are more of an investor on this one. And one of the interesting things is they actually have futures on this as well, which I'm not super familiar with, having futures on kind of the individual tickers like this, but you can trade futures on this one as well. Tatas are India's favorite. Is that a fact? Well, I'm glad I brought you Tata Power today then.
All right. Question for the chat. You all heard the pitch. You heard the story. Thing that caught me right out of the beginning is $7 billion of revenue, only $150 million of earnings. Seems like there's room for margin expansion there on the fundamental side. But if you had to be bullish, or you had to be bullish or bearish on Tata, you have to participate. You have to take a position. None of us are sitting on our hands and just casually listening to Barbie. We're being active. Put a 1 in the chat if you would hit it bullish. Put a 2 in the chat if you would hit it bearish.
Are we bullish on Tatas? I mean, Tata Power.
Yeah. I think I might have been the only one who got that.
There they go.
If you guys got that, let us know.
Sorry, I was having a IRL chat. What do you mean?
But I'm in your real life right now.
I know.
You're talking about being bullish on Tatas or Tata?
I'm talking about Tatas, and he's distracted over here.
We got those in Miami. We got
Yeah,
everything
that's
you
true.
need out here.
Power? No,
They
it's
are out and
India.
proud in Miami.
No, Tata
Yeah.
Power is only in India.
Is it? No. I have no idea what we're talking about. What
All right, Forrest, it's over to you, sir. Questions from the group, from the community.
I'm trying to track. There was one. I see a lot of really good questions. So first and foremost, shout out to the chat. You guys are actually coming with some heat today. So someone asked about how I felt about other order flow tools and why I started trading the volume profile. Can't find it, but it's somewhere in there. There's a lot of things about psychology. Someone said, from where you are now, what are some things that you tell yourself from day one? Something you wish you learned, something you want to tell yourself. A lot of really good stuff. So I'm gonna do why volume profile, and I'll try and find it again, or if you could just ask the question again. Versus other order flow tools, and let's chat about it. Also, I try not to short on gold just for fun. It's in a low value area, and yeah, that's that thing. Anyways, that's a perfect example of why I use the VP. All right, so it's like a confluence with the trend line. I forget all the things I know now because I've been doing this for so long. I just assume a lot of things really quickly. But there's a low value area right here. So an edge of a node and confluence with the trend line. Very, very simple trade setup, right? Trend line, low value area, right? It's the end of an auction. So the reason that I trade the volume profile and why it's so powerful to me is it tells you where people are positioned, and it just makes trading so much simpler than I think a lot of the complexity that other approaches to trading might have. Now, people who use other systems might disagree, and that's fine. I'm not here to argue that volume profile is the best. It's what I use, right? So I would pitch it like that. It's what I use. It's how I make money, and it makes me money. So I know it works. How do I feel about it versus other things like Bookmap? I like Bookmap. I don't use Bookmap readily anymore. I'm actually working on, I actually have a tool that will go and it'll take like the icebergs. For anybody who doesn't know, like they'll have an algorithm and they'll let you see where large orders are getting placed on the tape. It's great. Again, it lets you know how people are positioning, right? I'm all about positioning because I think that people are bees, and in mass, the market is going to react when you hit the edge of an auction, just like we did on gold here, right? So there's a trend line, we hit the edge of an auction, a low value area. There's literally no one here, right? It's so intuitively simple to me. No one here, a crap ton of people here, crap ton of people here, crap ton of people here. So the market has to react at these levels. If I was trying to pick a place for it to react, it's going to do it right there, right? Same if we go over to like NQ, right? Like I said it was going to come back up and traverse this. Why? Because most of the people are up here. It just makes sense. It doesn't even matter what the candles are doing, honestly, right? It's like sometimes when I'm watching other like things on YouTube and stuff like that, and like people are overcomplicating it, and I'm like, it's just going to go right here because that's where the people are. It has to, right? And if you're trying to like figure out the exact like zigzag of the candles, and it's like, it really doesn't matter if it takes 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 days. You know, when you trade the volume profile, like, you know where the market's going to go. So that's why I trade it. Other order flow tools are probably good for that same reason, right? I have listened to other traders that they say similar things, but maybe they have a little bit, they use a different tool like Bookmap or something. That's totally fine. I tend to appreciate people that are thinking of volume in general. But yeah, that's what I do. I've traded tons of other things. I kind of arrived at this as just a conclusion. I think when I first started trading, I can't remember what I was doing when I first started trading, guys, honestly. I had a lot of stuff on my charts. Now I just have.
I think it's good to try things out and kind of see what speaks to you, because I've done the same thing. I've looked at the footprint charts, and I looked at Bookmap, and I've ended up really liking. Well, I do use volume profile. That is one of my favorites, but I use volume profile, market profile, and the cumulative delta because those are the ones that I think those three are very visual, but they're not as visual as Bookmap. And for some reason, that's the happy medium for me personally. But it really is the same information in a way.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever. It's just a different way of processing and displaying the same information, more or less. And so whichever way speaks to you and connects with you, that's the best way for you.
Yeah, I mean, there are some different, like Bookmap is really focused on like aggressors in the market.
Well, that speaks to your style a little bit. So Bookmap might be more intraday, and you're taking longer day trades and swing trades.
Exactly, which is why I don't really watch Bookmap anymore. But I do have a little tool that I created that will show me like specifically icebergs over 3,000. So whenever somebody makes a really big play at an edge, it's super simple. So if I see a 3,000 buy side ice come in at the low here, I'm like, I'm slapping on the long. Like it's just extra confluence with what I've already decided. You know what I mean? So there's things like that that are useful.
Yeah. I just couldn't dedicate a whole screen to bouncing balls. I don't know. But I like how the other stuff blends in with the candles a little bit more. I know they have tools that you can put the Bookmap information on your charts, but
let's see where ES prior day POC is also, by the way. I think we got close to it, up 59.0650. So I am looking for a retest of this prior day naked point of control. So we'll see if we get that. Market's been open for 6 minutes, so we'll see what we do here. And we should see, I mean, gold should keep moving down while this moves up, most likely. If that diverges or breaks, then something else will happen, I suppose. But yeah, I am looking for this. Let's mark it up right here on ES, 59.0675. Naked point of control. See if we touch that. But yeah, does that answer? Did I pick a person? Do I have to pick someone, Luke? I guess I have to pick a person and win, huh?
I think you were supposed to save a name.
Was it Monkey D Profits? I think it was Monkey D Profits.
I think it is now.
It's Monkey D Profits. There's some other good questions in here. I mean, if you want to answer some of these, Barbie, I can't possibly answer all of these guys.
I've been trying to like catch them as they go on. I need to pause my chat.
Pretty fast, yeah.
Here's a good one.
Which I'll
ask it to you, Barbie.
Okay.
So, Barbie, have you ever misread a shift in market structure that looked like a breakout but turned out to be a liquidity sweep? What did the experience teach you about confirmation and patience?
Sometimes you're just wrong too. That's why we have stop losses and money management. That's something that I realized probably before I was really good at reading the market, that the money management was really going to be key. Because I have a trading group, and I've always been in some sort of trading group, but we're always looking, a lot of us are looking at the same levels. And I noticed really early on that we were looking at the same levels and trading them very differently. And I was actually really annoyed about that, because if I've always been pretty good at levels, and if I'm pretty good at finding these levels, why is this jackass over here executing it better than me? And so that's why I just really dove into money management. So that way, if I'm taking the same idea over and over and over again, even if I am wrong, because I will be wrong sometimes I'm going to read it wrong, whether it is a mistake on my part or the market's just not following through on an idea that I had, because both of those are true. I could misread the market, but also the market could do something different than was kind of expected. And in either of those scenarios, I need to be able, that's what stop losses are for. That's what money management is for. And that doesn't mean that I'm stupid. It doesn't mean that I'm bad at this or anything like that. That means that trade didn't work out. And that's why we were talking about this the other day too. When you go through, whether you're back testing very systematically or you're just going back through practicing your execution, like getting those reps in and getting all those nuances and little mistakes worked out before, that gives you confidence in the trade, so that when you do have it go against you, you know that was just that one that goes against you and that better things are coming.
I want to do this one. I'm going back to life lessons, and then we are going to cover the open. So if you're looking to see what are our thoughts on the open, we're going to keep covering it. Don't worry. We're going to look at Barbie's charts, the levels earlier.
There's a battle. I'm being accused of rigging. Guys, I don't keep track of this stuff. Okay. I will say this. If Monkey D won the expert the other day, then we'll give it to somebody else. Okay. That was maybe he's just asked better questions than the rest of you guys. I don't know. But we'll confirm. LC, it looks like maybe LC was the. I'll have to go. I don't know if there's a way to search through the chat.
No, I see a really good question out of the chat. The handle is at MyFundedFutures. I think that would make for a good recipient of the expert account.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
All right. You all will see me live trading tomorrow. I'll ask one more life lessons one. I'm asking this in seriously to both of you. It's on the chat. It goes, does being disciplined in life, like being humble, working out, religious, thankful, show up in the charts?
I saw this one. I'm glad you brought this one up. So I talk about a lot. I didn't know when I embarked in day trading, I thought that I was just here to learn how to make some money. I did not know that I was here to master my own mind and become more disciplined and fix kind of, I mean, I've become a better person. It's been a self-improvement project. So I'm improving my finances, but I'm improving everything else too. And discipline is just so important. So being able to be disciplined in your trades means you're going to be able to be disciplined in your diet and your exercise and everything else that you have to do. And that's why a lot of the most wealthy people, they look like they have everything together. And it's really just that they have their discipline. So they're able, they get up every day. They don't say, oh, I don't feel like taking a shower. I don't feel like putting myself together. I don't feel like getting dressed. Maybe they do feel like it, but they still push through. That's not an excuse to not do it. And that same disciplines you do carry across into your entire life.
That's deep.
Forrest, what say you?
On the question of discipline and is everything, same question?
I mean, does it help you in life?
Yeah, I think I 100% agree. When I started trading, it was the same thing. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna like master this skill. It's like being a carpenter, right? You just learn how to cut, you learn how to use, and it's just not like that. It's really psychological. So any like afflictions that you have, the reason I name my podcast Your Relationship with Money is because like what your relationship with money is going to determine your ability to hold a trade. For example, two people, they're both up 10K. One person's going to be like, I'm gonna hold this until it hits 100. Another person is going to be aggressively taking profits. And they might have the same thesis, the exact same setup and everything, but because of how they feel about the actual number, they're going to behave differently, right? That's real, guys. And that happens on every level. It's the reason why, some of you have trouble holding trades over 100 points and things like that. It's because you just, it feels big to you, whereas other people, it feels small. It's purely psychological. So I think, and then just on another level, and I've mentioned this before, like your brain is going to leverage experiences that it already has when you try to do new things, right? And so if the rest of your life is just an absolute, shit show, it's going to be hard for you to like lean on other experiences of like, no, I got this, or no, I can be patient, like if you're never patient, right? Or it's going to be tough. So just keep that in mind.
What I would like to do next, and just to recap for you all, we're looking for 750 viewers to do a little freebie, a little giveaway for you all. We've covered NQ. We got the levels flowing for you. We got the most interesting chart of the day, a stock that many of you probably don't think about, Tata Power. We are now about 15 minutes into the open. I'd like to welcome our very good friend making a return, Miss Terry Trades, onto the stream with us. And we're going to take a look at Barbie's charts from the open and the levels that she called out. And Terry might even have a little opinion for us.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, Terry.
Good morning. So what are you thinking, Barbie? I am looking at the news candle, the 8:30 news candle, and it looks like we're kind of trading above like the highs of it, like right at the highs.
I'm watching that as well. And
Yeah.
I'm also, I threw my little orb tool on here so we can watch the 15-minute range. So the 15-minute range high, it is our high there right now, the 58.9850. So I love it when VWAP is right up there with it and we can kind of bounce off of VWAP. VWAP's a little bit lower right now, but it's still below us. Plus, as you mentioned, we're holding above that data candle, and we're also kind of holding, or we're the 5,900 was kind of my line in the sand for if we can start getting, maybe not triggering the short squeeze yet, but heading towards that trigger. And so all that stuff's kind of there. So if we can break out of this 15-minute opening range, that's also going to break out of our high over here from pre-market. So this could actually be a breakout trade. On the other side of it, the market's not moving very fast right now. I was looking at that, trying to figure that out. I'm kind of glancing at the volume. We don't have a ton of volume today, which is kind of annoying me right now. I'm wondering if people are going to show up here, but it might be we just need to get the market to get over some key levels, get some programs turned on from the funds here.
Right. Yeah. I see the barcoding on the 5-minute.
Yeah.
And we haven't.
Your buyer coding, what is that?
Oh, yeah. So barcoding is just like, layman's term of when all the candles are just like stacked against each other. So it looks like a barcode. And whenever I see
barcode. I thought you said buyer code. I thought I was learning a new term. So barcoding. Yeah.
Barcoding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like it's coming down.
Yeah, no, I was just saying we just broke out the other side of it. The one that I was watching that's right by VWAP, but I wasn't ready for that.
So maybe if it breaks the news candle low, it could really like go down potentially. We are negative, so we're negative about 61% in the red for the day from yesterday's unchanged number, which tells me that's pretty bearish, right? That we are over 0.5% negative with that news print. So maybe if we break below, I am currently in a trade. I'm short from 278. So I just took a breakout trade off of the 5-minute candle, the opening. So we'll see if it works. It did not work yesterday. And so hopefully it'll work today. I'm risking about 1-to-1.
You're on ES or you're on NASDAQ?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on NASDAQ. Yeah. So
okay,
I
that was
only
the
trade NASDAQ usually. I'm sorry. What was that, Barbie?
What level were you short from?
I'm short from 278. Yeah.
All right. So kind of right where we are here.
Yeah. And then my TP is at 229. So hopefully it works, guys. It did not work yesterday.
That would be the short. Yeah, that would be the short of my little opening range tool. That I didn't have a limit order to catch that. I love to have the limit orders there. And then I would be targeting, well, on ES, the break would have been right there at 88.50. And then I would be targeting 83.50. But yeah, I didn't get in on that because I was watching the other side of it. I had my order on the other side of it.
Yeah, it looks like a bull flag, like with the barcoding from that news candle. So I could totally see why you were looking on the other side. Yeah, it's really interesting that you like to look at the 15-minute orb, and then like I've been looking at the 5-minute orb. Yeah, a lot of people trade.
Well, I used to look at the 30, and so I'm actually shrinking my time down to look at the 15. But this is what I've been working on back testing because the 30. I liked the 30 a couple of years ago when the market just kind of felt slower and I was using it on options a lot. But I've been liking the 15 more on the futures. I have not tested the 5 though.
Yeah, I saw someone test the 5-minute and the stats were pretty good. Like for it was about 6 months, so it wasn't that long, but it made money. And then the probability was, I don't know, maybe 60+%. So that looked good too. Only on QQQ though. It was interesting. It was different on SPY. And
I actually noticed this the other day because I went to go test this stuff, and I'm using these calculations. That's what these little lines are on these little blips there. Those are the calculations for targets. And I noticed just looking at charts the other day that NASDAQ was hitting those more than ES. And I didn't have time to go do all my testing on NASDAQ, but that's on the to-do list for sure.
I love that you backtest. And I heard you say earlier about feeling confident when you do get a losing trade, knowing that good trades are going to come because you've done that backtest, you've done that homework. And like, I love that. Otherwise, like when I get into losing trades, it can feel emotionally, you feel like frantic sometimes. And so I love that you said that.
I don't like that feeling when you're, because we get that question all the time too. So I know everyone knows exactly what feeling we're talking about, where it's like you have the setup, you enter the setup exactly as you're planned and it doesn't work out. And then you're like, why did that not work out? And it's not always that you did something wrong. It's sometimes just, you were saying that when you're back testing, you were 68 or whatever percent accurate on it, but there is that other percent. And so you can't take it personally. Just in general, you can't take the market personally, but when you have actually spent the time back testing, then you kind of know to expect sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay.
Yeah, you're so right about that, about not taking it personally, not feeling like you're a terrible trader because you lost a trade. Like, big deal, right? Like I'm constantly telling myself like, okay, it's just
I do that still.
trade.
Yeah, because sometimes you're just like you're tired, or there's other stuff going on, and so you're more susceptible to that. So that's not something I don't think you outgrow. I haven't outgrown it. I still have to remind myself that it's okay. That was just a trade.
Exactly. Forrest, what do you do to kind of help yourself with when you do experience some losing trades?
I cross my fingers. No, I'm kidding. When I'm dealing with a losing trade in particular, I have such a detachment from the market. I feel like now, like I truly do not care. Like when I put on when I put on a trade, like the way that I know a trade is good is like if I put it on, if I can immediately just walk away from my desk and be like, all right, I'm gonna let this thing cook. Right. And then if it's red, I'll come back. I'm like, that's annoying. But that's the upside to taking such a low amount of trades, is that I'm not so invested in any individual trade. And then also sizing down as well. We'll give you that. Now, if I'm scalping, like if I'm in a scalper mode and I'm like, doing a lot of executions, that'll be a little bit different because now I'm playing more of like a P&L battle on the day. But my system right now, like I honestly, like if I wasn't streaming, if I put on a trade, like it's almost better to not look, right? In my opinion, because your thesis, you watching the charts isn't going to change the outcome. Right? It's either you're right or you're wrong. The market's going to go up or it's going to go down eventually, either in 5 minutes or in 5 hours. So like you looking at it won't do anything. Right?
That's so true. Sometimes I'll catch myself watching the chart thinking like as if you can somehow control it. like you're watching.
Who else has caught themselves doing that? Just sucked in, just staring at the charts all day. And you don't need to. You need to go touch some grass, get some fresh air.
Yeah.
That's the other reason why I personally don't trade the lowers. Obviously I can, like I said, sometimes I'll get scalper and I'll go to the lowers, but every candle is information, right? So like if you're looking at a 5-minute chart, like you're processing a lot of information, right? If I'm looking at a 4-hour chart, I've got like 3 candles. You know what I mean? So like the decision-making process is just entirely different because it's like I either have a trade or I don't. Most of the time I don't. And then it's like if I get in on a 4-hour signal, I'm probably holding the trade for a couple of hours, which means I can just, F off anyways. Like I'm not going to sit here and watch the next 4-hour candle form. You know what I mean? So that's a part of it is lifestyle, and part of it is just like I've been trading for a while, and I just like, guys, I got a bad back. Like I do not want to sit here all day. Like I really do not. I love trading, but I do not want to be at my desk all day looking at the charts anymore.
Yeah, I've heard that going on higher time frames definitely reduces the stress. And then I also liked what you said about sizing, because I'm finding that when I size too big, that's when I feel like I can't just walk away.
That's when you get stressed out. And I think that in theory, we think that we can take that sizing because we're looking at the positive. If that trade works out, we're like, yep, I'll take that. But then we don't look at when the trade doesn't work out. Like, no, we're not going to take that.
Exactly. We only think about the upside, and then we don't think about losing. Yeah.
You know what's crazy is people will do that. They'll be up $200 and they'll like cut it. They're like, oh, because $200 is a lot of money. But then when they're red, they do the opposite. They just hold it and hold it and hold it. And it's just like if you're gonna cut trades at $200 green, then you need to be like getting stopped out at like 30, you know. But most people have it backwards. And if you can't do that, that means you need to lower your leverage and trade as small as possible. This is for everybody in the chat. Trade one MES or one MNQ or one of whatever the heck it is futures you're trading for like 30 days. Just trade as small as possible and see if your trading improves. I bet it does, because you're not going to care. It's going to seem like all the dollar amounts don't matter. And by virtue of them not mattering, you'll actually make money. I promise you. Like for 99.99% of people, that will be the case. Okay, because
I wanted to highlight. Sorry, I wanted to highlight Tiger Sleep here. Said Tom Hogarth mentioned that fear as an emotion is 2 times stronger than hope. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even more, if it's a bigger discrepancy than that. Because that's what we see in the market too. Like whenever we have fear, we have that's why it stares up, elevator down. But that's on a like local to your own personal trading level too. Like we take the losses harder than we celebrate the wins.
Yeah. I loved what like the idea of trading small and the whole detachment from the emotions. Cause like a big part of this conversation is we're talking about the emotions of trading and it getting in our way. And to be able to detach seems like it's like the key. And to trade really, really small to the point where you don't care at all. And sometimes that might be like making, I don't know, $50 on a trade and then the other flip side of that is losing $50 on a trade. Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm continually trying to work on is trading smaller, right? Like
I think
it's hard. It's so hard to trade small sometimes.
I think it's worth it because like say you do $50 a day. Okay, there's 25 days in a month, right? So 50 times 25, you make $1,250 a month. For most people, that's like you cover your car payment, you can like knock out a chunk of your mortgage. Like it's not Ferrari money, but it's useful amounts of money. And I think people forget that. I always like to like if I gave you $1,250 a month, you'd be ecstatic. Like everybody would be ecstatic if it was free. But when you have to work for it a little bit, people always go for like the moon shots. And like you'll get there. Like if I promise you, if you develop edge in the markets, you will make a lot of money. Like you just you have to earn your stripes though. And so you should trade small. You got to go slow to go fast. But I would be some of you guys should do that, and you should report in the chat every day. Like just trade as small as possible and see how your performance improves over 30 days.
You know how it is though, because all over socials and everywhere it's look at my Lambo, and like most of those are trading influencers. They're not even traders. They're not even getting, that's not from trading, but that's not from trading in one day, certainly. So
definitely not in one day. And like I get the nice
way
stuff.
people
Like
treat it.
I live in Miami. Like I like nice stuff too. Like I just bought a car, and spending money on it and stuff like that. But like I'm years in the game. Like I'm deep. I'm deep in this thing.
Deep.
You know? I've made and lost a lot of money as well, guys. Like I've lost money. So you got to earn your stripes.
Yeah, there's a there's a reason Forrest has to use this virtual background. Lost his place.
There's a reason I've got the casting couch. Just kidding.
Is that what that is?
I had to.
That's the other income.
We all have multiple streams of income.
I'm gonna text you guys something that you're gonna find really entertaining.
Forrest rents out his studio to get people, in there so you can get buy more evals. Barbie's got her couch. Mary, don't worry, it's not normally like this.
Okay. It looks like we have over 1,000 people watching.
Should we do a giveaway?
Okay, well, you convinced me.
All right. If you need a second stream of income, I have the answer. Your second stream of income are free resets that you earn by watching MFTV. All right. We have accounts up our sleeve if we hit the next target, and the next target will be 1,200 viewers. All right, we get to 1,200. I've got free accounts coming, but we're going to start with resets, delivering a second stream of income for you all. If you have not yet liked the stream, do it now, because you must have liked the stream to be eligible to win. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now, because you must be subscribed to the channel to be eligible to win. I'll give you the countdown. 1. Code is going on the screen now. Overnight. Code overnight. 50 of you. That's right. 50 of you are getting free resets. Code overnight. If you got it, drop it in the chat. We want to hear it. We want to see it. Give some hope to your fellow traders, delivering on that second stream of income so you don't have to resort to the things that Forrest, myself, and Barbie have to do. And again, I've got free accounts up my sleeve, assuming we can creep to that 1,200 level. I am going to recuse myself from this coming conversation. I'd like to bring on a guest, a very special guest, Mr. NickDoesFutures. Nick himself in the flesh. He's got the green light on in his room, feeling bullish, feeling green for the day. Nick, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
We hear loud and
Fire
clear.
POC coming up, by the way, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I did hop in the long too.
Yeah, I've been
Since
holding it for a
everyone's
little
probably
bit.
wondering.
Do you guys want me to share my screen or what?
Show us what you got, Nick.
Okay. Listen,
Awesome, nice to meet you, dude. Welcome to the party.
it's good to be here.
Welcome to
Let
the
me,
party. You'll probably lose some brain cells after this, but hey.
I'll share these again.
Yeah, we are the most fun future stream out there.
No contest.
No contest.
So ES prior POC touch there, like to the tick.
Here, can we go take a look at your chart real quick, Forrest? Well,
Yeah.
next screen set up. Let's just take a look at those levels you called out earlier.
So that was the maneuver I was talking about at the open, or even before the open at 9. So again, guys, volume profile, the market has to go to liquidity. Okay, so we had this kind of really delayed move lower here. NQ had the participation higher. ES just came up and seeked out this liquidity from yesterday and the day before, Tuesday, right? So Tuesday and Wednesday, most of their participation was higher. So again, if I'm trying to think of where the market's going to go next, and I map this out, it's very, very unlikely that at the open, you just do a super bearish maneuver on a Thursday, right? At the it's unlikely without a liquidity grab first. Okay, could we have some downside continuation? Maybe. But again, I said the most likely scenario, we're playing poker, okay, is we go for the most recent liquidity, which is naked POC above. So this came up, tested that node, and yeah, nice little scalp long there. Not a bad way to start the day. So you're welcome.
Awesome. Nick,
What up, man?
I'm gonna flip it back to your screen, sir. First, well, we're watching the charts live and having some fun with that. Introduce yourself to the group, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no. My name's Nick. Obviously, I've been trading for about 6 years and about 3.5 full time. Got into this game trading like stocks and like swing trading, and then I found like ICT trading like late 2021, early 2022, and then just kind of started trading that along with some other friends. I think Sniper on Twitter, Matt, T Trades, Ryan, Dodgy, Tanya, some others, and yeah, we just kind of all started trading that together. And yeah, no, that's kind of like my journey. I was profitable before with like my swing trading model, and then like early 2022, the market started, tank and everything like that. So I was like trying to find like a strategy that was a little bit more, I guess like more bulletproof. And sorry, I got spam call. And yeah, I just started. I went down the rabbit hole of ICT, right? That's what everyone says, and then developed a model and things like that, and just I'm kind of here, I think Ash as well. You guys do a lot of stuff with Ash, and I've known him for about 2 years, and yeah, I'm pretty simple. I'm actually kind of boring. Like I have a partner who does our Discord. He basically streams, because if I streamed, I wouldn't say much for a while. And I was talking to Tanya about that too. She was like, "Oh, you should stream." I'm like, my charts would not move a whole lot because I'm mainly watching like the hourly and trying to catch like where the daily candle is going to go for the next day, or if, like where's the weekly going to go. Pretty simple stuff, and it's all based on like draw and liquidity. So I think what's his name, Forrest, was talking about how we generate a lot of liquidity up here, and that the most likely scenario is for us to reach up here. And I agree with him on that for sure. But one thing that does kind of scare me is like the previous hourly close. I would have liked us to close above that SIBI or that fair value gap, and retested it and then go higher. But this is actually my long position right here at 326, and then stop below the previous hourly low, targeting up to like 506, and ES is a little bit weaker, so I'm anticipating NQ to go higher as ES goes higher. But that's kind of a story about me and the position I'm in. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Welcome, man.
So I think, was it Forrest and Barbie? You guys are the main ones that do this every day, right?
Yes, sir. We're here every day, just trading and having a good time. I do appreciate that you trade. I had the same trepidation about streaming. I was like, I don't really do the lower, so like most of the time there's not much going on. It was literally the same situation I was in, where I was just like, I'm just waiting.
Yeah, you don't have to. I think a lot of people want to get into trading. Like I was down in Florida with some friends like 2 weeks ago, and some people just started that were with us were just starting trading. And I was like, "Hey, bro, like just watch the 15-minute." And then I kept looking over his chart, and he was on the 1 minute and just staring at it. You know what I mean? I'm like, you can tell like what price is doing off the hourly. You know what I mean? Like this previous hourly candle at 9 o'clock, it was like consolidated. Same with the 8 a.m. It's like upwards consolidation, I like to call it. But compared to like, I guess it was this Tuesday, where this like you can tell it's displacing higher on like the lower time frame. So I think most people, they just like picked like the 15-minute or the hourly and found like points of interest within those time frames, and then waited for price to come into those points of interest and then drop to the lower time frames, they'd be a lot more successful. But I think most people just hop in on the 5-minute, the 1 minute every single morning, and it's kind of like where all the bad things start to happen. You know what I mean? A lot of noise on those charts.
Yeah. So
that was actually.
Oh, go ahead, Barbie.
That was a light bulb moment in my trading too. When I first started, I was trading with everybody, and they were sharing their 5-minute charts all the time, or even 1 and 2 minute charts. So that's what I thought 5 minutes was slow. And once I finally actually zoomed out for real, trading became a lot easier.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I started looking at the 1 minute when I was first learning. So what you guys are saying is like looking at the bigger time frame gives you that context, and then that helps you with the overall picture for the day.
Because that's always a big question too, is how do you get your bias for the day? And it's the answer is always zoom out.
Yeah. So Nick, how long do you typically hold positions for?
I'll hold them. I'll probably say that max is like 3 hours. I mean, I took a euro position a couple weeks ago. I took it like in Asia, and I held it till 7 a.m. the next morning. Like I'll do stuff like that if it's setting up pretty nicely, if there's a lot of volatility. But usually I'm in and out between like in the AM session from like 9:30 to like 11:30. Sometimes a little bit sooner, but rarely do I ever hold stuff throughout the PM session, because I just don't trust, trade copiers and stuff like that. And I don't really want to, I've had horror stories with that. So I'm usually in and out. And if what I think is going to happen happens, it usually pushes there anyways. And if it doesn't, then if it's taking a long time to play out, it means it's probably not going to work out. And if it is taking that long, I really want to drain my mental capacity on a day like that when, that's kind of like what I think.
Yeah. So once you put the trade on, are you pretty much like hands off, or will you use discretion to take off the trade?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in this case, like I do a lot of stuff on like the higher time frames and the lower time frames, especially recently. Yeah. So this doesn't look good all right here. Let me pop this out real quick. Put you guys back. So usually what I do is I will wait for price to like come into like a gap or run a low. So like all these lows I was anticipating getting ran out. And then I was gonna look for ads in here on like the first point of like strength to the upside. So like a good hourly close or something like that. I was just a little busy this morning. So I actually would have had my first starter ad in here. And then I will look for like a lower time frame model. Once we created like a fair value gap on the hourly, I'll drop to the 5 minute and try to find like a breaker block or something in there to target these highs. So like I take anywhere between 1 and 2 positions, but then once I'm in them, I'm just kind of like, I don't really care what happens. I think that's another thing too, is when I first started, like I was like, I'd take a position, I'd just stare at it because I'm so worried about what happened. Like now I'm just kind of like, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, like cool. Like, just doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. I heard you say you basically scale into positions and you'll try and add with a better price, or just like with a structure.
So the main reason I do that, I only do that on days I feel really, really good about where price is going to go. I don't do that every day because I'm only taking like 2 to 3 trades a week. So, and like of those 2 to 3, I'm combining like if I'm adding in. So that would be 1 trade, even though it's 2 in 1. But I'm only doing that if I feel I have very strong conviction that price is going to go higher or lower. Like these equal highs up here are just a strong conviction to me that price is going to go to them, especially after we already swept out all these lows. Like yesterday, I didn't do this. The day before, I didn't do that. And then Monday, I didn't do that either. So, but it's only on days where I feel really, really good about it. Because the one thing that would make me more mad if price came all the way down here like I anticipated and then ran higher without me being a part of the move, because I didn't get a lower time frame entry model. So I like to just get in on like a smaller starter position. And that way I may not make a whole lot, but at least I'm part of the move, because it would make me more mad if the price ran without me to my draw on liquidity than for me to get stopped out and lose a little bit of money. But that's just me. Most people are a little bit different. Maybe they don't want to get, it's all personal preference is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so you really have to know yourself is what I'm hearing you say.
That's great, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I also heard you say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I want to ask you, so just on that topic of like position sizing to a degree, right? Do you kind of categorize your day? So something that I'll do is like today, for example, it's very unlikely that I take a full leverage position just due to the nature of.
The way it's going here, me too. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just curious if you had that kind of approach, and like some days is like there's an A day. We talk about A setups, but they're like A days, B days, C days, right? Today is like the best trades today are going to be like B trades. At least I trade higher time frames, so that's kind of how I think about it. But like I'm not going to full lever on a day like today. It's just there's not going to be that opportunity even.
It's like we're going up against resistance when the market's hard like it is today. That's why I look at like I don't want to go up against so much resistance if I don't have to.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean for sure. Like I don't like if there's some days like I'll come into the market and I'm like, okay, I'm up, $3,000 to $5,000 in a week. I don't really want to give back more than 1,000. So I'll give myself 1 or 2 opportunities to get long or short. And then if that, like I've already accepted that, like if the account's at, like I trade MyFundedFutures, Top Step, whatever. Like if the account's like 260 or whatever, I will be like, I'm not gonna lose no more than 259,000. Like the balance isn't going below that. But I've already kind of assumed that it has. But before I go into the trade, because I think that's just the best way to trade. You know, they always say like don't invest with more than what you want to lose, right? So that's kind of how I approach the markets. That's not always how I used to approach the markets. It was very much in the like trying to just catch a trade every day and just feel something. So, but yeah, there's definitely days I come into it, Forrest, that I'm just like, I don't like what I'm seeing. I'll take a trade because I think we go higher, but I'm not for sure. And there's some days I have more conviction than others. I put on risk, and I think that's the difference between, you know, being break even or a little bit profitable than like insanely profitable. You know, just kind of like the next level.
Do you trade your own account as well? Like a personal account?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is a question a lot of people ask me. I'm curious of your thoughts. How often do you pay yourself when you're trading a personal account? Prop accounts, it's like every 2 weeks, let's just say across the industry ish. But let's say you get to a personal account. How often do you pay yourself?
I'd probably say 2 or 3 times a week, you know, so it's about the same. But like, it just depends on the conditions. Like in April, I would size in a good bit, and April was weird. Like it started off very volatile, and in the middle it was kind of like chop, and then like in the end it kind of moved higher. So it's all about, you know, just finding like the good conditions, and, you know, just like knowing when to participate and size in. But like when I take a trade on a prop account, or if I'm trading on a batch of prop accounts with MyFundedFutures or whoever, combined with the personal, like the personal will just about always be in there, especially like if I feel good about it. Yeah.
Cool.
Because I think it's important. I think having a personal account is very, very important, you know. But I do like, you know, the expert plan with MyFundedFutures, because that's like, I think that's as close to a cash account as you're going to get with like a prop firm, you know.
Yeah, that's why I always it's the best account in my opinion. Obviously, it's the most expensive one, but that's why it's the best one. But yeah, I think as you guys move to personal, I'll just add my 2 cents. Like, pay yourself as fast as you can. A lot of people get into permanent account growth mode. It's like you grow your account from 5K to 10K. They're like, oh, now I got to get it to 20K. It's like, nah, just pay yourself. You know, buy your mom something.
I always had a rule where I paid myself half. So I had a routine where I was doing it, and whatever my profits were, I would put half of them back into growing the account and pay myself half.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good rule. Put some for taxes, 30% for taxes, and then from the rest.
Well, that would have to come out of my half, I guess. That's the way I was doing it.
Don't forget about taxes, guys.
So Nick, do you coach people too?
I do, yeah. I've been coaching for about a year and a half, 2 years for trading and things like that, and got, you know, quite a few students that are like, you know, very, very good, and got like a lot of some great stories from them, you know, from like not knowing what to do when they look in the markets to, you know, taking like very like high payouts across like multiple prop firms and things like that. So, and I kind of have a passion for it. I've, you know, did some teaching with like golf and stuff like that. I've always had a passion to watch people, to help people get better at something, and, you know, trading and golf, kind of just those 2 things. And, you know, if I like it, I want to do it, you know. So it's not just because of they pay me to do so. Like, you have to have a patience and, you know, a passion to do it. Otherwise, like you're just gonna like wear yourself out, just like with anything else. But yeah, they do. Yeah, no, they do well, and like I spend a lot of time with them and things like that. So it's we also have a Discord community, me and Matt, and I think over a year now in there. We do live trading, you know, every morning, and we have a PM session stream Tuesday through Thursday. That one of my students, he actually streams the PM session for everybody. And yeah, good, cool story about him. He, you know, he was kind of like lost this time, like last year, and, you know, he almost wanted to quit a couple of weeks in the program, and then like 6 weeks later, I told him like, hey, you're not quitting. And then 6 weeks later, got like a very good payout. And I think now him and his wife are due in August for their first child. So, you know, like he thought he was going back to work. You know, it's just cool seeing someone be able to not know what they're doing to being able to support a family and stuff. I think his wife still works, but like, you know, it's still pretty cool to see someone, you know, provide for a family and things like that. And I have, you know, 2 kids of my own, got a wife, house, mortgage. So like I'm not the biggest on social media. So like, I don't, you know, not a whole lot of like, I guess, influencer money as you would call it. But, you know, I started doing this thing with like just trading because like I had a passion for it. And I think I always will more than anything. I think if most people just focus on like being a good trader, you know, they can go be a good teacher and whatnot as well. So, yeah.
It is fun getting to watch people change their lives.
Yeah, it's crazy. No matter what, if it's teaching trading or whatever it is, basketball, whatever, it's just cool seeing people like progress and like I said, it's changing lives, stuff like that.
So give us some nuggets as far as what you've seen with helping to coach people. Like what would help chat as far as succeeding?
I think, you know, what we got 1,400 people in here. I think the less you, I can't just say that word. I think the less you care about trading, the better you'll be. And I don't mean like you can't care, but like in terms of like the outcome, I think if you just like come into it, it's a very easy career. In terms of like the tech, like you literally just draw lines on a chart. But the mental aspect, that's very hard for most people. And like if you're not a very disciplined person, you don't have a whole lot of patience, then you know you got to figure that out. But at the same time, there hasn't been a problem in trading that hasn't been solved. So whatever, like if you deal with like FOMO, and if I see like my students dealing with like FOMO into a trade, there's the answer right there. Quit FOMO into trades. And that's how we break down each person's trade and things like that. And just kind of, you know, not like kind of smack them on the head when they do something wrong, you know, just kind of, you know, like, hey, this is what we need to do. Well, so let's fix it and we'll get there. But most people, you know, that have rules or whatever that they'll write down, but they don't follow them because like it's one thing to write them down and another thing to actually follow them. So, but yeah, I think another nugget is I think most people are better than they think they are. It's just they get caught up in social media and like I think like I literally have 2 lines on my chart, like with the risk. I mean, one's the draw liquidity, one's like where I'm kind of working for my risk to reward tool. So like it's not hard. This isn't a hard game, but I think, you know, if most people just came into it with this kind of like, stop trying to look for more info and more info. A lot of your answers are like right in front of you.
Yeah. So stop searching and know yourself, learn what's getting in your way, and then really attacking that is what I hear you saying.
It is simple. I mean, like sometimes I tell people like ignore my system or any other system and just like wait until you get to prior day high or low and like go short at the highs and go long at the lows and like just track your performance.
But that's discipline again. And like what I keep hearing, this is kind of our theme of the day. So Nick, can you become a good trader if you don't develop your discipline? What do you think?
You can, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, see, there it is. You have to develop your discipline, I think.
Days you're gonna have, maybe you may get a payout or whatever, you may get lucky, but in terms of like the long term, I don't think so. But like that's where trading is like so much different than any other career. Like I know people that worked at like the previous job with me that were they were like they were alcoholics. I mean, they were like like self-discipline like was not it, you know what I mean? But they were still making, you know, $500,000 a year, whatever, at their job because like they didn't like, you didn't have to worry about like yourself, like discipline and things like that in order to do your job. Whereas here, you gotta know yourself. You gotta be dialed in. You have to, you know, you gotta have that discipline. And I think that's what makes it hard because like if you took that person that's making $500,000 a year that is not a very disciplined person, you throw them in here, they're not gonna know what to do because they're gonna like gamble essentially, you know what I mean, thinking they can do it. But that's where trade. That's the hard part about trading is yourself. It's not the charts and the freaking, the entry models and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. Can we drop Nick's socials, and so that people, if they want to get in touch with you, they can. And Nick, share your socials with us.
Yeah, let's see. I can. You want me to drop like Bento or whatever? My like link tree. Just drop it.
Yeah, drop it in there.
Yep.
Okay, I'll drop it in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, thanks for coming out and talking to us, sharing with us some very valuable information as far as nuggets on improving, and also sharing with us like your trading style too. I find it so interesting to hear how traders do it, right? Like everyone's so different, and yet people make money. So it's really helpful to kind of hear different stories.
Yeah, it's I don't think I was subscribed to your channel, so it has to give me a minute here. So like I'll drop it here in a second. Yeah, no, it was fun coming on. Yeah, I just think most people like really overcomplicate this whole career. So I think screen time is also important, but it's not important too. So like I think like knowing. Like learning what you need to know, but like once you know it, like stop, like just show up for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, and then just get out of the market. Because like you got to know your system and things like that. You don't need to stare at the charts for 8 hours. That doesn't mean anything. Like you can still lose money. I think I can drop it now.
Okay, awesome. So Forrest, do you want to share your socials with chat, Barbie, you too, and maybe say something encouraging to chat?
Encouraging. Wow, guys, I got something for you. First of all, it's Thursday, which means tomorrow is your last opportunity to make a few more dollars this week. If you're red on the week, don't lose any more money. Actually, scratch that. Tomorrow may or may not be a good trading day. So don't put all your eggs in tomorrow. But do the things that we talk about. Do the things that we literally just covered right here. Be smart, simple, keep it simple. If you have a million lines and indicators on your chart, don't do that. You can find me at Trading with Forrest on YouTube. On Instagram, it's Forrest_the_investor, Forrest the investor. And if you want to learn how I trade, go to learnvpe.com. Sign up for my webinar. I'm doing it Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're at 54 signups last time I checked. See if we can get 100 people in there. Totally free webinar, top to bottom, how I trade. It's super simple. It's the stuff I talk about on here every day. And we're just going to go through a gazillion examples. So that's it.
Thanks, Forrest. Barbie?
Well, I'll drop my website in chat real quick because I've got all the links on there, but I'm mostly on YouTube, Bull Barbie Trading. Y'all can find me, but all my toys and everything is linked at bullbarbie.com. And I think that we've talked a lot about discipline today, and I think that kind of ties back into when the market is good to put on trades and when the market is not good to put on trades, knowing when to have that discipline and when to let yourself push the button and push the trades. So like right now, when it's harder, when we're not getting the reaction that we wanted and it looks harder, it's because it is harder and we don't have to trade during those times, and we can wait for things to come together. When we wait for the market to come to us, it's way easier. So that's my tip for the day.
Thank you. And if anyone wants to follow me, you can follow me on YouTube at Terry Trades 100 and also Terry Trades 100 on X and also on Instagram. I just started the Instagram account like not that long ago. But just a reminder, everyone hit the like button. Oh, sorry. What's that?
Appreciate it for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, everyone hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And also a reminder that we do have 30% off on the expert plans. It's Nick's favorite MyFundedFutures account type. So we have that. And then I don't know if we can drop the link for the signing up for accounts in chat, if we can do that.
Is the code for the 30% off? That one's code YouTube, right?
Oh,
I think We should double check on that.
Okay, yeah, let's
I think it's code YouTube for 30% off of the expert.
Yep, it's code YouTube. Thank you. All right, so we are going to welcome back Luke. And hey, Luke.
Hey, I'm back. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Forrest. Thank you, Barbie. Yes, I was frantically on my keyboard like it's code YouTube, but Terry and Barbie figured it out without me. I'm useless at this point. But I will ask this question. Please put a 1 in the chat if you have not used code YouTube for 30% off expert yet. I want to know how crazy our audience is. Like, they lost their mind. They have not used code. Oh my gosh. What the heck? I should be running an insane asylum rather than a streaming show. There's so many people that have not yet used code YouTube to get 30% off expert. It expires tomorrow. You get 3 uses. Then they're gone forever. It works for resets too. So I'm going to put another link in the chat with the code YouTube to get 30% off expert. I'll make a deal with you all. If I don't get 50 people to use code YouTube to get 30% off expert, then giveaways will end forever. Stakes are high. Are you going to be part of the problem or part of the solution? I was also asking the chat earlier, given that we're at 1,400 live concurrent viewers on the stream, does that mean we should give away 1,400 accounts? I don't know, but I do know someone who does know. Ash Ketchum, Ashy Ash, Mr. AshTrades himself. Welcome back, the Ashman.
Hello, how are we doing today?
Doing well, man. What's up? How's life? How's trading?
Going good. This morning's very difficult, so hopefully people are siding on patience. Being on the sidelines right now, in my opinion, is the best option. So hopefully everybody's not running through 100 different trades. There really isn't much clear direction yet this morning. Other than that, it's been a very slow morning, very patient morning. How is your day going so far?
But when it's a slow morning, isn't it better to just force trades? Get a little action in your life?
If you need some desensitizing of risk, maybe.
But otherwise, no.
Yeah, definitely
All
stay on
right.
the sidelines right now.
You're very consistent on that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ashy, what about running some free accounts right out of the gate?
We're up there already.
How many
Looks
likes?
like closing on 900 likes already. You guys got to it before I even got on stream this time, so I definitely think it's worth it.
All right, rip it, run it,
Run it.
free accounts.
Oh wow, even it's accounts today.
It's accounts.
Chat must be doing good today.
Chat is doing good. Terry's doing good. We got to celebrate Terry being on, Nick being on, you being on, Forrest, Barbie. Whoo! So without further ado, I would like to make the call to arms. In order to be eligible to win a free account, you must be a subscriber on the stream. That's right. You must have subscribed to the stream. So go ahead and do so now if you have not yet done so. You must have liked the stream. So go ahead and like the stream if you have not done so. I'm going to wait for a minute while you all do so. Ash, while we're waiting for people to like and while we're waiting for people to subscribe to the channel, what do we have to look forward to today? Give us like the 10-second overview of what you're going to be covering for us.
I want to go into some risk management today. I'm going to be talking about that patience. I think today is a perfect day for it, considering the type of price action we have. So I'm going to go into, how much people trade, risk tolerance, risk management. I'm going to have a risk conversation today.
All right. We're talking risk. And if trades do arise or come up, you will be making them on the show?
Yes. If anything comes across the table, I'm definitely going to point to it. So far, there hasn't been anything, and I'm completely fine with staying on the sidelines. If price wants to if we just keep going sideways, then, there's nothing to do there. But if something does come across the table, we'll definitely take a look at it.
All right. I'm asking the chat. I said, should we do expert? And I'm getting a lot of no's. I was going to give away expert accounts, but I think that people might want eval to lives. What do you think? What account type should we give away?
I'm ready. I mean, the fact that accounts are even being given away, everybody should be quite grateful. The amount of giveaways that are happening on this channel is astonishing. So any type of account, in my opinion, would be phenomenal. Everybody was talking about accounts yesterday, and now here they are.
All right. So question for you all out there who want your freebies. Eval to live. Is that locked in? Is that what everybody's saying that they want? I had expert in mind. But again, I'm a man of the people. You know what? Let's just run the expert since that's what I have queued up, Ash.
That's my favorite. So,
all right. Expert accounts it is. 50 of you, that's right, 50 of you, 50, almost $10,000 of giveaways coming at you live are going to win these accounts.
Wow.
I
mean, the expert accounts are the best accounts on the market. So 50 expert accounts is incredible.
All right. Code is going on the screen now. Expert boost. Code expert boost. 50 of you are getting your expert accounts. You are taking them home. Grab them. Get them. If you got it, let us know in the chat. The chat slows to a trickle.
Let's see. Throw a W in chat if you're able to get one of them. Code expert boost. Throw a W in chat if you were able to get one of the expert accounts.
Yes.
There they are. WWW. Congratulations. Bunch of W's.
Bunch of W's.
Everybody was asking for accounts, and there they are.
There they are. You got them. They're cooking. They're rolling. All right, Ash. I'll stop interrupting. I'll say this. I'm going to come back to this stream in 20 minutes. How's that, Ash? 20 minutes. If we are above 1,200 live viewers 20 minutes from now, I'll get another round of giveaways. Or is that okay, or have I lost my mind? I'm crazy.
I say we double down on 1,200 live viewers and 1,200 likes.
Woo! Woo!
Throw 1,200 likes in there, too.
All right. Let's get it, Ash. Over to you.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another session with AshTrades. Hope everybody's day is going well. Hope everybody's week is going well. Let's start it off with seeing how chat is doing. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're green on the week. Throw a 2 in the chat if you're red on the week. And throw a 3 in the chat if you've yet to trade this week. See how chat is doing so far. And you heard the man. Let's get the likes up to 1,200. That way we could do some more giveaways. Very simple. Just like the stream. And let's see how chat is doing so far. Okay, some 1s. Some 2s. Seems pretty 50-50 so far. Some more 1s, some more 2s, a couple 3s. All right. Seems pretty 50-50 so far. All right. Well, just know this. Just know this. Prior experiences does not determine your future experiences. Let's just focus on the now. Focus on working hard every single chance you can. Focus on the now. Give today your all. Don't allow yesterday's experience to induce some kind of emotion that's going to deter your executions today. Remain objective to price action, right? So you could be objective, which means without influence, or you could be subjective, meaning you're being influenced by some kind of bias, some kind of emotional deterrence, some kind of prior experience. Come in here daily looking to focus on the now. Okay? Follow your game plan. Define your game plan. Execute your game plan. And execute it with strictly defined risk management. Don't allow prior experiences to deter you from that. We need to be objective to price action so that we can manage it as efficiently as possible. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have today. I'm going to go through some of my biases first. Then we'll get into current price action. So we had some news this morning. We had a couple red folders that occurred in the beginning of the day. Those already occurred. That was at 8:30. Days that have red folders, I do want to be participating on days that have red folders. Those red folders are our liquidity injections. Okay? Other than the economic calendar and red folders, I want to be participating during the opening times, right? So we're currently dealing with New York Open, New York AM session. So for my game plan, it will always remain the same. It's going to be real repetitive when it comes to me because I stick to my model. Time is the most important element. We had an 8:30 a.m. driver and New York Open. Those are the two important times of the day. Then bias or draw on liquidity is the second most important element. In my opinion, those two things mean the same thing. Whatever price is reaching for. Okay? The direction of price. Whatever you I'm bullish. I'll explain why I'm bullish right now. I get on the daily chart and I'm looking at swing highs, swing lows, and imbalances. To me, it's very clear that price is finding support at the prior imbalance that was caused on Tuesday. Okay, I just outlined the imbalance here. So I'm looking for this area to act as support to go reach for previous day high and the Tuesday high. Now, to me, this is a good draw on liquidity because price did not go above these locations before. Right? Previous day high, price has not reached towards it yet. Same thing with the Tuesday high. So these failure swings, right? This to me is relative equal highs. Equal highs or equal lows are one of the best forms of draw on liquidity. So that is the reasoning to my bullish bias. I'll be looking for higher prices. It looks like we're getting an internal to external move. Looks like it's bouncing off of the imbalance and trying to reach higher for the previous day high. So in terms of bias, I'm bullish. And then last part of the game plan is entry function. And as an independent thinker, as a risk manager, as a business owner, you can execute however you'd like to execute. There is no perfect model, okay? Nothing works 100% of the time. What does matter is that you find a model, you find an entry function that you can clearly identify and execute. Something that can define your risk so that you know where to enter and what invalidation to that idea would be. For me, that's the unicorn model. Okay, so this is, oh, I wrote game time. That works too. This is the game plan that I look to create each morning. And then during the session, I look to execute that game plan. Okay, so I'm bullish. I look to execute during New York Open. Right, and you can still see that price is continuously finding support at that higher time frame imbalance. Now that's great and all, but this is where the risk management conversation starts to come in. That's what I spoke about earlier, wanting to talk about. Just because you have a game plan, just because you have an idea, does not mean that you force yourself upon price. Okay? Clearly, it is very clear, both on ES and NQ, that price is stuck in a very tight range, right? We're not decisively moving in either direction. We are literally going sideways. This is that moment in time where thinking in terms of risk is better than thinking in terms of reward. And as a risk manager, right, a day trader, as a business owner, you should be looking at this as your business, okay? And to make progress in your business, taking less expenses is just as important as bettering the top line, right? You need to better the bottom line, have less expenses while increasing the top line. So what I'm trying to say here is when you could recognize that, yes, I have a game plan, great. I'm capable of identifying that game plan and creating one. But there's a difference from analyzing to executing. You can be the best analyst there is, but you could be a really bad operator, executor. You have to find the common ground in those two things. So what I'm trying to say here is my analysis is bullish. I want to be participating during New York Open. But since New York Open, price hasn't done anything for me to execute. So as an operator or as an executioner, my entry function's not here, right? So when I look to execute, right, I'm bullish this morning. So what I want to execute is this right here, a bullish breaker. Okay, a bullish breaker plus an FEG, right, the unicorn model. Now take this right here, take this pattern right here, and tell me if you can clearly identify that anywhere in here since 9:30. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. You have to think in terms of risk instead of reward. If you were the euphoric individual that's saying, I want to make X amount of dollars today. I have a certain goal that I must meet daily. That emotional inducement right there is going to take you away from being objective to price, viewing price for what it's giving you versus being influenced by your opinion. Like, yeah, I am bullish. I want to see higher prices. I'm not going to force myself into longs just because that's my bias. You see what I'm saying? You have to better the bottom line by taking less expenses while increasing the top line. Okay? So every day is not going to be a trading day. You do not need to be in a position every single day. Okay? If you're the individual that's taking 10, 20 trades a day, that's kind of what I'm referring to. Is patience is truly a virtue. There will be days like right now. Today is that day where being on the sideline and being patient is better in terms of your risk management than forcing your opinion upon price action. Right, so right now, I'll gladly continue to stay on the sidelines. Right, if you need to take some kind of active measure to staying on the sidelines, such as, right, here's the trading panel down here. Not even logged into any brokers, any accounts. If you need to take that physical step, that proactive approach to staying on the sidelines, then do it. Right, and this is one of those approaches that I'm referring to. Like, there's no reason to even sign into an account right now because of this right here. Okay. Next thing would be, and we spoke about this on yesterday's stream, knowing thyself, right? If you're that individual that just can't handle their impulsions, that you're so influenced by your emotions, it's going to be hard to make progress in this business. If you're just coming in here and clicking buttons every single day, it's going to be hard to make progress in this business. Every day is not a trading day. There's a lot of times in this business that are spent doing nothing. Patience is truly a virtue. You have to be able to recognize that within yourself. If you feel euphoric heading to the office, if you feel the urge or the need to be in a position, then you need to be able to recognize that so that you can step back and say, hey, I'm not being objective. I'm not thinking in terms of risk. I'm thinking euphorically. The emotions are inducing me to do something. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about some risk today because today is an account blower day. I mean, look at this. There's clearly no direction. We've gone up, down, up, down, up, down. We're just going sideways. This is pure chop city. We are chopping it away. This is, look at this. I mean, what is this? They're just going sideways. And that's fine. Let them. Let them. You have to know yourself and be capable of being patient. And so I don't really have to go over ES. ES is the correlated pair to NQ. So everything that I would have to say about NQ would or should correlate to NQ, right? So it is the same thing here. We tapped into the higher time frame imbalance. Right, so I'm also bullish here on ES. Thinking that previous day high and the Tuesday high are the targets. There's just nothing convincing to take advantage of. Got the beautiful equal highs here. This looks like a good target. Spoke about equal highs being one of the best forms of draw and liquidity. When dealing with equal highs, here's a little nugget. Here's a little nugget. When dealing with draw and liquidity, equal highs or equal lows are one of the best forms of draw and liquidity. When dealing with equal highs, you always want to see the right high be the failure swing. What I mean by failure swing is that it did not go above the first high. You want to see the right high be the failure swing, right? So this is a failure swing right here. This is not a failure swing, right? So take a look at current price action. Look at the left side versus the right side. Failure swing, failure swing. Okay. Now, there's a difference if that was SMT, right, or a crack in correlation, but that's not the case here, right? Because if you look at NQ, NQ also has the failure swing here, right? So there's no SMT at this location. So just to go into what I'm trying to say is when a market turns around, you should find SMT at that location as well, right? So let's do that again real quick. Oh, hold on. Let's do that again real quick. Okay. This one's ES. This one's NQ. Okay. Notice how they both have failure swings. This looks like a really good draw on liquidity. This is what price would want to reach for. Okay. Now compare this situation to this situation. ES has failure swings. NQ took out that high. That's a crack in correlation. Now that's something in which I would say the market might be turning around here. I would not call this a draw on liquidity anymore. I would not use those equal highs as a draw on liquidity because the correlated market took out that high. That crack in correlation is the market tipping its hand saying, hey, something might happen here. See the difference? Very clear. There's no SMT here at the previous day high. Let me now put that into candlesticks, price action. NQ did not take out previous day high. ES did not take out previous day high. There is no crack in correlation there. Therefore, I would call those equal highs a good draw on liquidity. If there was a crack in correlation there, then I would be saying something different. See the difference? The crack in correlation is the difference. If there is no crack in correlation, then I'm not interested. If there is a crack in correlation, that piques my interest. Okay, so once again, I'm looking for higher prices. Now, just because I'm looking for higher prices, that does not mean I have to engage with price. Okay, just because I have a bias, that doesn't correlate to executing. Those are two different conversations. You can be an analyst, you can be a phenomenal analyst, but you can be a horrible operator. Therefore, you might not be profitable. You have to blend those two things together. You have to be able to operate within price and analyze it. Okay, so as an operator now, that was the analyst portion there, right? Now as an operator, there's nothing I'm willing to risk to participate in that bias because of this right here, right? There's nothing clear about this. It's just going sideways right now. So as an operator, I will gladly sit and wait on the sidelines until there's something so clear that I would be willing to risk. That's what it comes down to. This is the process that you have to go through daily. If you're looking to start this business, that is a rundown of a day-to-day process.
Ash,
Hey, what's up?
couple questions out of the chat. One, they're asking for free accounts and free resets. So I don't know what your opinion is on that, but there's one for you. Two, I see a lot of people asking about like the discipline, and that was a theme that we saw in the first 90 minutes. Can you just speak to discipline? What role it plays, what discipline and other aspects of your life plays, all that sort of thing?
Absolutely. Discipline is literally the bridge between consistency and your goals. Okay, so first in terms of life, and then in terms of day trading and this business, if you don't have discipline in going to the gym, right, you might not last as long as somebody that does take care of their health, right? So having discipline in getting exercise, having discipline in eating healthy, having discipline in working on mental or emotional intelligence, right? Reading books. Those things are going to carry you much quicker to your goals than if you have these laps in discipline. Okay, so now let me correlate that to trading. If you have discipline in risk management, right? If you every single day you show up and you say that, you'll only take one trade a day, maximum. And during that one trade, you will only be willing to use, I'll just use a random number, $500. Let's say your maximum daily drawdown is $500, right? It's going to be very hard to blow that account, right? The 50K expert account, the drawdown's $2,500. Therefore, you would not blow the account after a losing trade. Now let's replace that with having no discipline. Let's take the same exact scenario, but you're willing to take 10 trades in a day. Well, then it just takes 5 losses in a row to blow that account, and you're probably done within the first hour because you just keep clicking the button. Think about risk. And when you're thinking about risk, analyze in the mindset of risk, not reward. Don't think, but I could make $2,000, but I could make $5,000. How about this? Think about this. When you're risking $500, say, I'm only willing to lose $500 today. Now, when you make $1,000, right, a 1 to 2 risk to reward, you've then just saved yourself that $500 you were initially willing to lose. Same thing goes for any positions to come, right? Every single time you have discipline in following your risk management, you're saving yourself $500. Now exchange saving yourself $500 for blowing up an account. Are you just willing to blow accounts left and right? Like you're not making any progress. We came here for a source of income. So if your issue is trading too much, which causes you to blow accounts, if you're being objective to that data, seems pretty simple that you need to stop trading so much. You need to start finding discipline in your risk management. Seriously, like if you want this to be a long-term business, you have to think in terms of the long-term health of this business. So if trading too much causes you blown accounts, it's pretty simple that you need to stop trading so much. Find discipline in that risk management so you could participate in this business in the long term. That's what it comes down to. If you're not going to have discipline in your risk management, you're going to blow accounts and you'll never make it to a payout. That's what it comes down to. I know that it's hard to control those emotions. I know that, we're human beings. We don't like to lose. It doesn't feel good to lose. This is where being data driven is so important, right? So for example, have you collected enough data within your model to know what an average losing streak is? Right? Because if you have an average losing streak of, let's say 10 losses, we'll make it a pretty bad losing streak. Let's say when you go on losing streaks, you normally go on losing streaks of 10 losses. Okay, well, if your normal losing streaks are 10 losses and your overall drawdown on an account is $2,500, then it sounds like per trade, you should be risking $200 or less. That way, when you go on that 10 loss streak again, your maximum drawdown is less than blowing the account. Therefore, you stay in the challenge. You don't blow the account, right? 10 times 200, $2,000. If your drawdown limit is $2,500, now you've gone through what a normal losing streak is, but you did not blow the account, which means less expenses, because every time you buy an account, that's an expense. Having less expenses while increasing the top line is how you make progress in this business. You need to find discipline in your risk management, or it's going to be very hard to make progress. That goes across all businesses. Any business you want to deal with. So starting to get a move higher here. Not very convincing. I still think this is the target for the day. Okay, right here, previous day high. Previous day high is target. Price is now over the new day opening gap. See what happens at this location. So you do have, let's see, this right here, swing low, swing high, new low, new high. This would be a breaker in here. And you have an FVG aligned with it as well. So take a look at this, see if this sends price higher, an area of support for higher prices to align with the bias. Decent risk to reward there too. 1.86. See what happens with this. NQ has the same exact thing. All right, so that target's still on there. It'll be the same exact thing on NQ right here. A little less in terms of risk to reward, 1.25. So let's go and watch ES because of the risk to reward. So this is what I'll watch for today. Whether it runs right to target, be my guess. Whether it comes back, tries to find some support. Either one. Essentially what I'll be looking for today. So if anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to throw it in chat. Now that we got through some of the conversation that I was looking to have today, we can go over some questions and comments. While you're doing that, sub to the channel. If you want to communicate with us here in chat, you have to be a subscriber. So sub to the channel, like the video, turn the notifications on. That way you could be notified for when we go live again. We are doing this daily. If you had to rebuild your trading journey with futures prop firms and no contacts, what would you do differently? And what's one truth about trading that most people aren't ready to hear? Well, I'll start with the truth because this one is so abundantly clear. I would say 90 to 95% of people fail. Whether you want to hear that or not, this is one of the hardest businesses there are in the world. So trying to start a business where almost everybody fails is not something everybody would want to hear because everybody just thinks of euphoria and thinks about how much money they can make when the reality of the situation is almost everybody loses money in this business, right? Whether you want to hear that or not, that should speak to the risk management conversation we were just having. A business that is so hard to complete, why are you so eager to rushing to that result? Have some patience. Focus on risk management. And then if I had to rebuild my trading journey with futures prop firms, I wish that I started with futures prop firms. I didn't start with futures prop firms. I was doing options. So I was using my own cash accounts to over leverage on options, which was too much leverage too soon, and it didn't end well. So if I had to restart, I would have started with prop firms because of the lower barrier to entry, right? So an eval costs less than funding a cash account. It also helps in terms of having some kind of guidelines or understanding of what's good versus bad, right? Understanding the rules, the drawdown limits, the target limits. It helps me understand what would be good versus bad. So the guidelines really helps in terms of understanding this business because, you know, it's a very isolated business. So you can't really compare to other people and you have nothing to base your results off of. So having those guidelines, having those objectives can allow you to be objective driven. So I wish I did start with prop firms. So very good question. Again, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. We have some time to go over them now. If you didn't have access to any indicators, what would you use to analyze the chart? I don't use indicators. So exactly what's shown on my screen, right? I don't use indicators. So I would be doing exactly what I'm doing now. I look at swing highs, swing lows, and imbalances. Right? Imbalances are FVGs, whatever you want to call them. I don't really care about the terminology. I don't subscribe to one set terminology. It's just an imbalance is an imbalance, whatever you want to call I look at swing highs, swing lows, and imbalances. That's what helped me understand market structure, right? So let's go out to the daily as we're waiting on this. For example, right, it's very clear that we're creating a lot of imbalances higher, right? Look at this gap here, okay? Look at this gap here. Look at this gap here, right? So just analyzing the imbalances right now shows how strong the bulls are, which makes me bullish, right? I don't need indicators to show me that. Just looking at these gaps within price action makes me bullish. Okay. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't rely on indicators. You should be able to read price action for what it's giving you. Okay. So, for example, we were bullish today and we were looking for a previous day high. Look at what's currently happening. We finally got out of the range and it's reaching for that target. I didn't use an indicator to do that. So if anybody front ran this, congratulations. This is what I was looking for, was a pullback to this area first. As of right now, it decided to just start moving higher without pulling back first. Same thing there on NQ. Again, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. I got another 15 minutes on my segment. You know, the man himself, Luke, is going to appear again at some point in time. Very good job on getting to 1,200 likes. So it looks like you guys made yourself a deal. Let's see. Ash, if you had taken a losing streak, how do you mentally reset to take the next trade without letting fear or frustration cloud your judgment? Very good conversation. Very good question. One is taking a break. Having scheduled breaks is extremely important, right? So think about a professional athlete, right? Let's just say Michael Jordan, best basketball player out there. Michael Jordan didn't play in basketball games every single day for 365 days of the year. That's what an off season is for, to have that scheduled break. You see what I'm saying? So same thing here. You should have scheduled breaks. There are certain days that I've already decided for myself that I don't participate. Non-farm payroll, CPI, FOMC. Non-farm payroll happens every single month. CPI happens every single month. So having scheduled breaks is very important for the long-term health of this business. Whether you go into that break with a losing streak or a winning streak is contingent upon your operating, right? Your execution within the market. Either way, have scheduled breaks is what I'm saying. Trying to have the sharpest edge, right? We need to be very sharp when we show up to these markets so we can execute with discipline. Trying to be sharp 100% of the time sounds like burnout. Give your mind the break it needs. Spend time with family. Touch some grass. Go do something good for the soul. Make sure that you could recharge that battery so that you could be here in the long term. Having scheduled breaks is my answer to that. Ash, I've gotten payouts, but consistency seems to be my downfall when it comes to trading. How can I overcome the impatience and want of payouts and turn more of my focus on my system? That is human nature. There's nothing easy about that. That is human nature, to want to do better, to reach for more. But look at your current data. Be data driven. Where has that gotten you to this point? Analyze your data objectively. Okay, so if trying to force those goals is holding you back from that consistency, then do something like finding an accountability partner. Do something like journaling. Do something where you can replace that execution time with something positive towards your business, where you could still be working on your business. You can still get that feeling of getting better, trying to work on your business without having to risk, right? Get in a community that has an accountability program, or just find another person that's trading that can act as that accountability partner. Along with journaling, spend more time journaling, spend more time reviewing your journal. Okay, so still fulfilling that need of wanting to get better and making progress, just with something else than a monetary outcome. It would be my answer to that one. Keep applying yourself, keep gaining more knowledge, keep working on your business, just not in a monetary way. Okay, we're approaching the target. So if anybody took these longs when it was pointed out, you're now looking at, let's see, we pointed it out during this candle, so it's probably closer to here, 2130. You're looking at over 50 points on NQ. For anybody that, front ran my idea, you're looking at plus 50 points on NQ. You got to be taking your profits at this point. ES is trying to run to the target as well. If NQ runs to the target before NQ, excuse me, I said that incorrectly. If NQ, which it's doing it right now, NQ is now at the target. Okay. Congratulations. Let's see who took advantage of the information. Did anybody capture this long? Throw a W in chat if you captured this long. Throw a W in chat if you front ran my position and you captured this long. If you did, you have to be taking your profits now. This is not a moment of saying, oh my God, this could be the one. This is take what's given to you and be done. Okay? Don't fall into the euphoria of saying, oh, but I need $2,000. Oh, but I need $5,000. Oh, but I need $10,000. Instead, let's think in terms of risk and say, the objective that I was looking for, we pointed to this target. It has now been completed, so I'm done. My job for the day has been completed. Accept what has been given and be done for the day. So what I was going to say was now this could be potential SMT as well. This could be a potential crack in correlation, right? If NQ ran above the previous day high while ES did not, that could be a potential crack in correlation. So let's take that off the screen so we can see it now. See how ES did not run above previous day high. Look at how NQ did run above previous day high. This could be a potential crack in correlation, which is another reason why I'm saying you have to be done. If you took the longs that I just pointed to, be done. Take the profit and be done. So let me hop over to chat. Let's see if I was able to provide any value for anybody today. If you caught that long on NQ or ES, throw a W in the chat. Throw a W in the chat if you were able to capture that long. Yes, thank you for the disclaimer. I've said this many times. I'll continue to keep saying it. I'm here to document my own experience in the marketplace. You, as an independent thinker, you assume your own risk. Okay, I'm not doing this as a signal service. Okay, you are responsible for your own risk. I'll start saying that more often. I said it when I first joined the live stream, but I'll say it more often. I'm doing this to document my own business. I'll gladly do it publicly. You know, there's a lot of opinions that come with that, but I'm going to do it publicly no matter what. Okay. What matters is you as an independent thinker are responsible for your own risk. Take full and complete ownership of your own abilities. Okay, so unfortunately for me, you guys saw what I was looking for. I wanted a return to the breaker first. Okay, so what I was looking for, I didn't get to execute this because what I was waiting for was the return to the breaker, right? You saw the line that I put on the screen. This is what I wanted. So as an independent thinker, you have two options. Either you instantly enter the position when the position is confirmed, right? That's front running it, right? You probably market ordered in as soon as I put that long position indicator on the screen. That's fine. What I'm saying is that you should know how you operate. So either decide before you take the position that you're going to market order in when you get your confirmation, or wait for a return to the breaker, and that will probably be a limit order. Either one of those options are completely fine. All I'm saying is, as an independent thinker, you should already understand your form of execution. Okay? Very good job for anybody that was able to take advantage of that. Yes, it did. Right? It tapped the breaker here, but this was the FVG that I wanted to be confirmed right here. Right? So this FVG is confirmed when this candle closes. So I didn't get this entry here at 11 a.m. I was waiting for this candle to close. It closed, and then I provided the long position indicator tool. So congratulations. Very happy for chat. Lots of W's this morning. Bias was correct. Notice how patience is truly a virtue. There he is.
I'm always here. Bashy. Beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
Fun week. Fun Ash week is what I'll say. You just carried this hour, baby. What do you think about wrapping it up?
I think we hit 1.2K likes, so I think there's only one certain way to wrap this thing up.
All right.
I think it might
Let's
be
wrap
time.
it up, and I'm going to deliver a handful of resets to y'all.
There we go.
How do we like that? For a thirsty Thursday? Thirsty for AshTrades? Thirsty for Ash?
Thirsty for the resets.
Thirsty for the resets? Oh, baby. We've done resets. We've done accounts. We looked at ES, NQ, SPY, VIX, gold, platinum, palladium, wheat, hog futures, cattle, lumber. We're the only ones that deliver. And work that wordplay, baby. All right. Ash, I'm going to ask you to read the code for the resets, baby.
Sounds good.
All right. Code is going on the screen now.
We got New York Session 50. So NY Session 50. We got 50 free resets. Go ahead and throw them in there. Got to be quick because there's only 50. NY Session 50.
Y'all thirsty for the resets? Thirsty Thursday. You're thirsty for Ash. Bringing it every day. When are you going to be back, my friend?
Hey, if you guys will have me, I will be here daily. I'm ready to work. I'm looking to relentlessly learn and work daily. 10:30 to 11:30. I will be here Monday through Friday.
Really? Tomorrow?
I'm ready for the work. We'll be right back here tomorrow.
Should we run a special discount on your favorite plan?
I would love that. I think everybody else would appreciate that even more than I do. So,
all right. What about 30% off of Expert?
Expert account, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. The Expert account is the best account on the market. I mean, the no consistency rule is incredible. Your first 10K of withdrawals on that Expert account goes 100% to you. And then after that, it's a 90-10 split. But to have no consistency rule is the gold. That is it right there.
All right, link is in the chat. 30% off Expert. Link in the code. Today is Thirsty Thursday or Thirsty for Ash. Tomorrow is Freaky Friday. We're going to have some fun. Happy trading, sir. Happy trading, everyone.
Have a nice day, everyone.